What's Berry? It's Jay here, and today I wanted to talk about whether kids should be at Pride and whether kids can be at Pride at the moment. I want to be, covering this from an aspect of like, should it be kid friendly and is it currently? The long and short of my answer is it should be kid friendly, but it isn't always kid friendly at the moment, and we should try to change that. I think it's very straightforward to make the point that Pride should be kid friendly because number one, LGBT people can be children, or children can be LGBT, if you will, and parents can be LGBT and want to bring their kids with them to Pride. I think that's completely fair and understandable. These are people and families who are valid as part of our community and deserve to be able to participate in our community events. I don't see why that would be something people would disagree with. Moving on to whether or not Pride is actually kid friendly, one of the big reasons why I feel it's not is because there is a lot of drinking and drug use associated with Pride, because it is in a lot of places a pretty big party. And as a result, a lot of people, they drink, they do drugs, they go a little wild, go crazy, go stupid, as you would say. And that's not really super kid friendly. Say for example in Ireland, we have rules about how late kids can be in a pub, how late they can stay in a pub, even though obviously they're not personally drinking. We have rules about when kids can and cannot be in alcohol focused spaces. We have rules about drinking in public, etc., etc. And I think a lot of parents wouldn't want their kids to be around people who are super, super drunk. And definitely not people who are super, super drunk that they don't know. And the same goes for drug use. Even if, like, parents would be okay with something like that if it was somebody that they knew, you don't know everybody at Pride. You could not possibly know everybody at Pride. There were so many people there. So, it's not really kid appropriate to have massive amounts of substance use and substance misuse often at events like this. And I know that that's a whole other video in its own right of like substance use and misuse in the LGBT community, but just on a baseline level, I think it's fair to say that those things aren't particularly appropriate for young kids. Now, on a harder to explain note, I think it's important that I cover this fairly fully. I think that at some people and some things at Pride have a tendency to be over sexualized. I know that, obviously our community is sensitive to allegations of being sexualized because there is this history of assuming that LGBT people are automatically too sexual for kids. And I don't think that that is the case. I am not saying that effectively. I am saying that sometimes when people go to Pride, they are very much focused on, attracting other people, first of all, because it's a big get together where they can actually fairly safely assume that people around them will be interested in them. And as a result, they focus on potentially sexualizing themselves in a way to attract another person or to celebrate themselves. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I just think that any kind of hypersexuality expressed should be expressed later on in the day when the kids are gone at like adult events, because you're not trying to get kids involved in that. And I know that that's like part of it. People aren't actually doing this in any way to annoy or cause problems with or like make anybody uncomfortable, but just by virtue of the fact that like kids go to Pride and they are in the same space as older people who are, getting a bit more sexy, that's uncomfortable for them. And it's uncomfortable for parents bringing their kids to Pride. And, I felt this discomfort when I was younger and I was going to Pride because, I was 13, 14, 15, even up until like maybe 16, 17, I felt that discomfort of like being the small groups of people at Pride who are purposefully engaging in a very sexualized way that made me uncomfortable as a young person. And obviously like this is a complicated thing to deal with, but I do think that like Pride events, they go on all day, all night. there should be spaces that are specifically geared towards being more sexual for adults, but that should be kept out of the main parade because it should be a family friendly event. And I know that some people will feel like me saying that is in some way homophobic, but the stuff that I am uncomfortable with at Pride is stuff that I would be uncomfortable with if it was straight people as well. It's not stuff that specifically bothers me because they are gay people. It's stuff that specifically bothers me because they are sexual things. And I know that, like, you know, everybody has different tolerances for these things, but as a baseline, you know, it needs to be family friendly. I kind of put it this way: if straight people couldn't do it in a PG movie, we shouldn't be doing it. Is that fairly fair? I think that's fairly fair. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please do click the like button down below. The comment section is wide open. Like, honestly, I'm willing to be wrong. And I know that this was a difficult argument for me to make. I know that it felt difficult to try and explain my perspective. So I'm willing to also clarify anything that I've said. And please do subscribe if you like this and you were interested in more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.